crossing over the borders to the English Premier League. We have Barclays Premier League back this weekend. This is 12th September. A great weekend because we have quite a number of matches, including Everton versus Chelsea, Arsenal taking on Stoke City. Then we have Manchester United playing Liverpool and West Brom playing Southampton. Now, Collins, coming to some of the matches that we've seen there, and one of the matches there is Everton versus Chelsea. Who do you think will take the day, and how do you read the outcome of the match?
That match, honestly, it's tough to predict because one, Jose Mourinho is under pressure to perform. You remember he has registered very dismal performance since the season began. At the same time, Everton are trying to come back into winning ways after they had struggled, and also they lost to Man City and things like that. They don't want to slip again. Remember last season, this is the fixture that's produced a lot of goals. I think the first encounter between Everton and Chelsea at Goodison Park produced 8 goals last season, when Chelsea beat Everton 5-3. All right? Or something like that. So it's going to be a match that is hard to predict. But given the teams that we have, if I look at this match clinically, Mourinho would not accept to lose. All right? Roberto Martinez, at the same time, will not accept to lose. Mourinho can get defensive at any moment when he senses danger.
Let's go to some other matches, and the big match this weekend seems to be Manchester United playing Liverpool. So your predictions, and how do you assess that game? Because we still have Manchester City at the top. Manchester United will be playing Liverpool. What do you expect from that match?
Number one, that's a big rivalry.
Sure.
Liverpool and Manchester United are enemies of football. The last time they met, I remember guys were like, this time around Liverpool is going to hammer United big time. At the end of the match, Gerrard was given a red card, was shown a red card, and United ended up winning 2-1, something like that, when Mata scored a spectacular goal, remember? I'm still hoping, and I'm sure, that United is going to beat Liverpool, irrespective of whether they play, whether it is at Anfield or at Old Trafford. Because one, Liverpool is missing one big man, Felipe Coutinho, who is always the center of that game. He is absent because of red card. Manchester United, after losing to Swansea and drawing to Newcastle, Van Gaal is coming up for a game, and he's telling his people, look guys, we got to win this match if we want to be. So I see a United win.
A United win? Yes. And remember, next Saturday we'll still be here with Collins Ogutu, and he's saying that Everton versus Chelsea, that's a draw, and then Manchester United versus Liverpool, that's a win for Manchester United. Of course, we will hold you accountable if it goes otherwise. But anyway, now let's go to the last match, the last big match. Of course, we have other matches like Crystal Palace versus Man City. That's big, of course, considering that Manchester City is at the top of the table. But I want us to talk about Arsenal versus Stoke. Arsenal, especially Arsenal fans, are always saying this is our season, this is our season. And sometimes I'm even left wondering, is Arsenal football a TV series, because you keep on talking of next season.
Next season. Oh, well, it surprises everybody. The last time Arsenal won the Premier League, I might not disclose my age on national TV, but I was young. I think they will win. They will win the league. The question is when. And you see how Wenger handles everything. You realize that this guy doesn't want to win any trophy apart from FA, all right, and Community Shield. But Arsenal are also full of surprises.
Yes, sure.
And I know I will shock many by saying this. Arsenal hosting Stoke City. Those are three points to Arsenal, if you ask me.
3 points to Arsenal.
Arsenal is going to win this match. They're going to hit Stoke City. They know how to handle these tough matches, especially at home. When you want to beat Arsenal, don't be too tough on them, because they'll beat you. I remember the last time they were hit at home by West Ham, no one expected. Everybody was like, they're going to beat West Ham. What happened? They lost. This time around, I think Arsenal is going to win.
It's going to win. Yeah. Of course, we'll be watching. That is Arsenal versus Stoke City. And let's talk about, just briefly, about Manchester City playing Crystal Palace.
That's a huge match.
Why do you say so? Why is it a huge match? Because Crystal Palace, many would say it's not here or there.
Crystal Palace is not here or there. But for Manchester City, Crystal Palace is everywhere. Remember last season, Crystal Palace is one of the teams that dented City's credentials for the title race. Remember? So Crystal Palace has been a thorn in City's flesh since they came back to the Premier League. And given the fact that Manchester City has not lost any match, they have not conceded any goal since the Premier League began this season, they have a point to prove, yes. Remember, we're coming back from the international break, where a lot of organizations still need to take place.
Yes.
I'm not so sure what to predict. I will remain silent on this match.
Manchester City
But I
versus
won't
Stoke.
be surprised if Crystal Palace holds Man City.
That's about the English Premier League. But now let's come back home here. That is, we have our very own league. That is the Kenya Premier League, nowadays known as the SportsPesa Premier League. Gor Mahia is still unbeaten. I don't know whether they are still untouchable because on Sunday they are playing Ulinzi. But then this Saturday we have AFC playing Western Stima. Collins, let's leave the English Premier League and come back here home. We have quite a number of matches. But comment on the Kenya Premier League standings. Gor Mahia on top, still unbeaten.
If you ask me, I would say, first of all, Kenya Premier League is one of the boring leagues that anybody would ever watch. All right? The reason why I say that is this league is not competitive. How do you allow Gor Mahia to stay top of the table from the beginning to the end? And then they meet people, no team dares defeat Gor Mahia.
Let me just cut you short and ask you concerning something that you've said, that English Premier League is, Kenya Premier League is very boring. And you're saying that because Gor Mahia is still unbeaten, right? Yes. But in 2004 in English Premier League, Arsenal managed to have the entire season unbeaten. Was that league boring?
I think it was boring. Because the moment a team is unbeaten, it means you guys go there, you stay there, you come back without any product, all right? But for something to get interesting, intriguing, let me use that word, someone has to beat someone, all right? If I go to City Stadium today and score against Gor Mahia, tomorrow you'll see the headlines. So-and-so has broken, quote-unquote, Gor Mahia, all right? But then if it keeps on going this way, even sports writers like us, we're even tired of saying Gor Mahia is unbeaten, all right? So someone needs to get serious, and at least, but I'm not sure Ulinzi will beat Gor Mahia.
Now, let's go to that match of Ulinzi playing Gor Mahia on Sunday. Any change? Could Ulinzi pull a surprise and then we have Gor Mahia being beaten for the first time this season?
Ulinzi can pull a surprise, all right? Also given the fact that, Ulinzi is the closest to Gor Mahia at the helm of the table. But then Gor Mahia is unbeaten, and I think they'll remain unbeaten, because no one has learned how to beat Gor Mahia. It will take them months to learn how to beat Gor Mahia.
Yes.
I predict a draw.
Predict a draw because Ulinzi will fight with all the might.
Yeah.
But then another match that is expected this weekend here, that is Kenya Premier League, is AFC Leopards are playing Western Stima. Now, AFC is one team that has registered mixed results, and despite that, quite a bit of controversies, because when they were playing Gor Mahia sometimes back at Nyayo Stadium during the Mashemeji derby, it said, and it was put in the media, that it's AFC that caused the unrest. I know we discussed that story some times back, but AFC Leopards has not been doing very well on three things. One, performance. Two, finances. In fact, the players of AFC Leopards now knows how it feels to go for some months without pay. And three, it's about the entire management. Some aspects of hooliganism are penetrating into AFC Leopards. What do you think is ailing the broken leopard?
The broken leopard is on its deathbed, so to speak. I'm one of the guys who I'm surprised at what is happening at AFC Leopards. Generally, to summarize AFC Leopards, it's a poor team. From manners to finances to play, all right? So everything is ailing AFC Leopards. The guys behind the scenes, those guys in suits, coming back to the field, even sometimes players refuse to play. All right, they go to the field, they lose a match. Not because they have lost it, but because they decided not to play. So a lot of factors are ailing FC Leopards, but until they put them right, I think they're going to lose this match against Western Steamer. Yes. Because then, I think Western Steamer are chasing FC Leopards somewhere around number 7 or number 8.
Yes.
And Western Steamer know the weakness of FC Leopards. I think they're going to punch them.
And now let's go to the management, this being the last issue. We want to look at the management of the Kenya Premier League and also football in Kenya. Hooliganism is one of the things that Kenyan football is struggling with. But apart from hooliganism, the issue of finances. Now, I know in fact we started the show by talking about matters of sponsorship, but according to you, do you think we are playing kind of a low-grade football, or it's matters about leadership that is affecting the entire football scene in Kenya? Because some have argued it's all about the kind of football that we play, and others are saying it's leadership from the top, not the players. Do you blame the players or the leadership?
It's leadership. It's easier for Mathare FC to have a sponsor than AFC Leopard. You wonder, because Mathare is down there, all right? They might be having a sponsor, and AFC Leopards is still having star 544 hash, all right? So it's the management that is to blame. Set your things correctly, stop corruption, stop stealing money that is not yours. Give it to the players, manage your team well, get a sponsor. But as long as you see Gor Mahia is trying to come up with the bread issue, I think the management is trying to wake up from slumber. They're saying, look guys, we cannot do this without sponsors. AFC Leopards still need to do that. There are people embezzling funds in the whole of football in Kenya. Corruption is the whole thing that is killing these things. Until they stop it, something is not going to happen. So management is to blame, and I blame them 100%.
Corruption, corruption, corruption. Those are the three things that Collins believe that they are affecting the Kenyan football. And now we come to the end of our show, but remember you can always send us feedback. Our SMS line is 20058. On Twitter, you'll find us at WTVKE, #SportsCenter. With that, we shall be in a position to trace your conversation. And let's meet again next week, still here at WTV Sports Center with our guest analyst, Collins Ogutu.
Thank you so much.
See you next time.